The rain fell sideways into her face. She tripped in the mud on the way. When she finally reached the top, she fell into Jesus' arms.
Master, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died.
When Jesus saw Mary's tears, he couldn't help but show his sorrow. He looked at the procession of hired mourners and officials. They were surprised to see Jesus. One of them had already left down the hill to tell the Pharisees. Deeply troubled and grieved, Jesus asked,
"Where have you laid him?"
They led him down the muddy path leading to Lazarus' tomb. A large crowd formed behind them. Mary, Martha, the 12, and a smattering of other Jewish officials and hired mourners descended down the path in the rain. Jesus stepped forward and touched the large stone blocking the entrance. His hand quivered as he felt it. His jaw shook, and tears appeared in the corners of his eyes. He slammed his fist against the dark stone and let out a cry. Jesus wept. The thunder beat in tandem with his sorrowful laments. Jesus looked up to heaven, connecting with the heart of his Father.
"This is not supposed to happen,"
Jesus whispered. God was the creator of life, not death. Death was the true and final enemy. The enemy Jesus was determined to defeat.
"Look at how much he loved him.
Some Jews said to each other.
He could heal the blind, but couldn't save his closest friend."
The rain was beating down relentlessly. The earth seemed to be in unity with the heart of Jesus. Creation wept with him. Still facing the tomb, he yelled,
"Peter! Andrew! Everyone! Come! Roll away the stone!"
Lord, he's been dead for 4 days. The odor will be horrendous.
Jesus turned with intensity in his voice.
"Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?"
His eyes were filled with holy fire. The 12 stepped forward, trudging through the mud, and began pushing the stone. It ground against the floor, slowly opening. A crippling odor seeped through the tomb entrance. The disciples and others covered their noses and retreated. Jesus looked at the dark entrance of the tomb, then up to heaven. The showers washing over his face. Jesus raised his voice against the rain and thunder.
"Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I know that you always hear me. This has all been for the benefit of those standing here today. This is so they would all believe that you have sent me."
Lightning struck again over the tomb. Thunder clapped seconds later as the Son of God stepped through the mire. Jesus roared toward the tomb, louder than the rolling thunder and more powerful than the wind.
"Lazarus, come out!"
The wind shifted east to west, blowing away from Jesus toward the tomb. Then, in an instant, the rain ceased, and all was still. A sliver of light cracked through the darkened skies. Jesus' gaze didn't leave the grave. The others watched with bated breath, still silent. Then, slicing the silence, they heard a stirring from within. First, a groan, and then a sigh of relief. Gasps echoed throughout the hillside, followed by shrieks from the women. Lazarus stepped into the light, uncoiling his bandages from around his arms and face. He blinked in the sunlight like a newborn. His arms and legs were solid and sturdy, but still bound. He could barely take a step. Like Adam so many generations ago, the breath of life raised Lazarus from the ground.
Lazarus!
Mary and Martha ran to him.
Martha! Mary!
The two women leaped into their brother's arms. He fell into the mud immediately. His legs were still bound in grave clothes. The three laughed like they were children again. Lazarus saw Jesus standing, soaked from the rain, but beaming ear to ear.
Jesus, let's get these clothes off you. They're meant for a dead man.
For thousands of generations, death had had the final word. Jesus would no longer allow death to rob the joy of his creation. He saw death as an unworthy adversary. From that day forth, he set his gaze on Jerusalem. Death was awaiting its chance.